It was in the early 1970s that German man Eckhard Baum began lending people pieces of his collection. The collection, that had proven very popular, consisted of a number of his favourite movies on Super 8 film. If you were talking to someone today about renting movies, they would probably assume you meant online, or be like, oh yeah, that's something I used to do when I was a small child. But there are still those who enjoy using their DVDs or VHS or Betamax or Laserdisc. We recently became two of those people after, funnily enough, not having access to the internet and therefore having very limited access to movies. There are only so many times you can watch the Simpsons movie in a row before you find yourself saying lines before the characters.
Yeah.
Lucky for us, the only video rental shop for miles around is right next to where we live. And it also happens to be a super cool place with a massive collection of movies on DVD and VHS.
Including what are now some of our favourite movies. For example, I'd never seen the Evil Dead series until Halloween last year.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're like my favourite movies. A monthly unlimited movie subscription is a little more expensive than Netflix, but you do get a much bigger selection.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
And also a big part is that you get recommendations from people at the store.
Yeah, not just something saying, because you watched this one movie 3 years ago, here's all of the sequels to it and a bunch of other crap that you would never, you don't want to see
it kind of filters through
Yeah.
all of that. I was going to say rubbish, but it's not rubbish. Just the bits that you don't want to see and gets you to what you do want to see.
Yeah.
Because they're just doing it for you.
So I already said that usually when you talk about physical video rental these days, people are usually like, oh yeah, that's something that I used to do when I was younger. But I mean, that's true. That's definitely true for us. I remember there was one, there was a really weirdly small shop in where the town that we both lived, Chepstow. And I think it was the only one there in Chepstow at the time.
Might be the same one I went to.
Yeah, and it was like this. It never really seemed like it was a real. Like you know how you see Blockbuster and it's like that's a Blockbuster and everything like looks all really well laid out.
Yeah.
It was just like somebody had been like, okay, this makes money. I'm gonna do that as well.
Yeah, that's weird if it's the same one that I went to, because I'm not sure that I remember it
Oh, really?
quite like that. But I obviously am a bit younger than you, and my memory from my childhood is not always 100% accurate. It's pretty bad. But I don't know if it's just because I used to get so excited to go, because in my house we did it like every Saturday.
Yeah.
So throughout the whole week we'd just be watching fairly regular TV, and I would get really excited to go on a Saturday because I also knew that it meant we were getting snacks and family time.
Yeah.
So that may be kind of what changed my opinion of it. But I used to go down there, and then there would be like there was like racks on the wall full of these movies, which I felt were kind of organized, but that may just be because I wasn't really thinking about that. And then they had like fridges full of drinks, and they had snacks and everything. So I always got really excited about the snacks.
Yeah, no, actually, so you saying that, I remember there being like fridges and stuff in there.
Yeah, it was, and then we knew the people that ran the store.
Okay, so you got the reserved movies, or the special, the ones that weren't scratched to hell.
Well, I don't know if I remember that. We probably did, but
well, yeah, we didn't get all the rubbish everyone else got,
But I just liked that meant we normally spoke to the movie clerks more, which I think is why I like talking to the people in our movie rental place now, because it like makes me think of that. And like in that movie rental place, they took a picture of you for your membership, which you didn't know.
Okay.
Which questionable, but anyway, and they would show us they let us see our picture, and it was really funny because it was like a picture of my dad unaware that he was having a picture
That's
taken.
really funny. That sounds illegal.
Yeah, I thought that, but it's meant to be so that they know, well, maybe at different times, but it was meant to be so that they knew you weren't trying to use somebody else's membership.
Yeah.
So it's just like a little photo ID.
It's interesting that you mentioned about like the personal like having to actually basically talk to someone in order to get your movies. Like there's a barrier between you and watching a movie, and you have to actually talk to someone.
Yeah.
Which I feel like quite a lot of younger people might find weird because they have it all online. So if you have never experienced going into a video shop, then here's a here's a representation of how it could have happened. Hello, I'd like to rent a copy of the newest blockbuster movie, but I don't have enough money to purchase it for myself, and I didn't see it at the cinema, so I'd like to watch it now.
No problem. That's £3 for 3 days.
You've got yourself a deal. Thanks. I will go home and watch this on my DVD player right now. I don't think I ever actually rented a copy of Transformers 2. Because I wanted it so much, I just bought it.
Yeah.
I didn't need to rent that. I wasn't just going to watch it once. I must have seen that film about 1 million times.
Yeah, fair enough. I can't remember any of the movies we rented.
Apart from the Evil Dead ones that you said are your favourite.
I mean from childhood.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
right.
I
okay.
remember the ones we've rented now. My memory is not quite that bad.
Yeah, I can't think of any specific examples of movies that I rented when I was younger, but I can tell you that 90% of them skipped at some point or just completely stopped.
Yeah.
Just the halfway through the movie it would just start jittering and then you'd have to give up. But that's all part of the fun.
I can remember that, and I feel like that's not the case now.
No.
That was just, I think our local one maybe didn't take the best care.
Well, I don't think it was them. I think it was
And it was all
people.
Yeah,
it's
people,
far more popular in that time.
Yeah, a lot more people were using the CDs,
Yeah.
maybe not, or the DVDs, maybe not
So,
with the utmost care.
but certainly since we've been renting recently, we haven't had any problem. They've all worked perfectly.
It's strange that we opt to see someone for this experience and get that personal experience when I feel we or people our age sometimes opt out of that. Like we do a lot of self-service. Definitely. We do a lot of online shopping. We much rather write emails than make calls. But I think it's because in video rental, if they're in that profession, then they obviously have an interest in videos.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they're a like-minded person.
Yeah, I think that's it. You've hit the nail on the head there, because they're not like intimidating people.
No.
You might think if you go into a video shop and ask to watch I don't know, something rubbish, they'll be like, how dare you come into our establishment and ask for such drivel. Yeah. But if you ask to watch a crap film, they're going to be like, sure.
Yeah, how do you know it's crap unless you've watched it?
Exactly.
And also sometimes it's kind of just interesting to watch films you know are meant to be bad, to get your own opinion on it.
Give you a broader view on it. It makes you what's the word I'm trying to think of? Makes you appreciate good cinema more if you watch bad cinema often.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and also you have something to talk about, which makes it easier.
Yeah, well, if you're in there to get a movie and they're in there to give you a movie, then you've already got one thing in common.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, something people might naysayers for video rental might say that DVD and VHS they're old hat, obsolete. What is the point of getting up, putting something in something else in order to watch a movie when all you really need is to you just need to use your phone? But okay, yeah, you've got more, it's more convenient, you don't have to move, which is good, but you gotta hold on to these these things. You can't
don't
just
be lazy.
Yeah.
Enjoy the physical like object. I feel like you can have more of a, like if you are scrolling through your phone and you see a movie you really liked, for example Evil Dead, I would be like, oh, it's Evil Dead. But if I was in a shop and I saw the DVD Evil Dead, I'd get way more excited about it.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why. You're completely right. I've never really thought about that before.
It's because I feel like because it's a physical thing, you can have more of a connection to it. And with film, where it's something that has changed your life in some way, like it's we quote movies, so it's changed the way we speak. You may have seen a character you liked and it influenced how you were, so it has an effect on you. I feel like it's nice to have the physical thing to connect to.
The spiritual end of video rental, shall we say, would be the blockbuster, and how it was king of the world at one point and then just like completely caved in on itself. At one point they had
9,000?
I think it was more than 9,000.
Oh, jeez.
I think they had thousands and thousands of shops across the whole world. And I think 2004 actually was when they peaked, which was much later than I thought it would be. But
yeah, considering it started it was mainly popular in the 80s.
But it's like if you went back in time to the mid 90s or the late 90s and said, I'm from the future, I'm only 30 years in the future, and Blockbuster will have one shop, they'd be like, oh no, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna get my movies? And we'd be like, aha,
yeah,
just you wait. But yeah, that's true. There's only one Blockbuster left in the whole world in Bend, Oregon, and I think it's not. I think Blockbuster as a company has completely gone into administration.
Privately owned, but kept the original name.
Yeah, but it's basically having a shop called Blockbuster. But it's pretty cool. There's only one left.
Yeah, it's kind of like a homage to.
Maybe we'll go there one day.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would be interested in doing that.
Yeah.
Even though it's a video rental place.
It would probably it's like the lamest
Let's
thing.
Go visit a video rental.
Go on pilgrimage to some shop that just you can't even buy movies. They just give you them for a short period of time.
But see, this just goes to show that there is something special about it, because we would be willing to go to America.
Yeah,
to do that.
It's not quite the same as like people who buy vinyl and stuff, because you don't really get to keep them.
Yeah.
But the idea of renting DVD and VHS, I think, is kind of similar to why people use vinyl, because it's like a dead medium, but people think that it's better or it has something special about it, so they don't want to conform to just using digital movies. Digital.
Yeah.
Bring back physical mediums.
Well, in relation to that, it's sort of like to bring up Evil Dead again. Really like those movies. When we were watching it, they used more like practical effects.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
Than CGI, which we were saying is way more creative, and in some way, although CGI in like the Marvel movies is good, and I enjoyed the Marvel movies, it does take out some of the it does take out some of the artistic expression of it, and maybe that's similar to why people prefer.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good point. People, whenever you're watching something with practical effects, even though it doesn't ever look real at all, everybody's always like, oh cool, practical effects, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But when it's like a CGI something, or like a CGI dragon or something, you're like, cool, there's a dragon there, but you don't really think anything more of it.
No.
So I think it is something like there's more to it than it just being another thing to watch a movie on.
Yeah, I think if you reach like complete perfection, there's nothing interesting to it, which I think is why people like vinyl instead of whatever the alternative, just listening to it on Spotify. And I think that's also why it's fun to rent movies, because there's something that's not so pristine about it. There's something more interesting about it.
So if you clicked on this video, like I said, being like, oh, video rental, I remember the good old days when I used to go down to the shop and rent various movies on VHS and then go home and they'd be awful quality, and I would be like, why doesn't something better exist? Well, now you've heard two 20-somethings talking about why they really enjoy it. So hopefully we've swayed your opinion. And if you if you're in two minds about popping down to your local shop, which likely doesn't exist anymore, and I think you should, even if you're like, I don't really want to do that, just do it anyway.
Yeah, experience something. Go have an experience and a personal encounter with somebody in a movie store.
Instead of watching 30 more seasons of insert television show name here.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah. You go and watch some really obscure movie. Ask the guy at the shop for the weirdest film he's ever heard of.
Yeah.
And watch that.
It's good advice.
That's it. That's the end of the video.